Regular city council meeting to order, Thursday, April 25th at 7 p.m. City council chambers. We'll start with the pledge, please.
And of a nation under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Jackson. Alderman Fairwell.
Here.
Alderman Rita. Alderman Montoya.
Here.
Alderman McGee.
Present.
Alderman Carr. Here. Alderman Rowe.
Here. Move straight to the swearing in. I believe, Chief, we have tonight. Okay. Raise your right hand. You have me. I, Evan Hilton,
I, Heaven Hill,
having been appointed to the office of police officer,
have been appointed to the office
of police officer
of police officer
in the city of Blue Island,
in the city of Blue Island,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
to solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of police officer
of police officer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. I state your name, having been appointed to the office of police officer in the city of Blue Island, county of Cook, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of Illinois, that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer to the best of my ability. Congratulations. Right hand. Repeat after me. I, Jose Ruiz,
I, Jose Ruiz,
having been appointed to the office of police officer
having been appointed to the office of police officer
in the city of Blue Island,
in the city of Blue Island,
county of Cook,
county of Cook,
that I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the state of Illinois,
Constitution of the state of Illinois.
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
I'll faithfully discharge the duties of
office of police officer
office of police
to
officer
the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I, Jesus Parado,
I, Jesus Bravo,
have been appointed to the office of police officer
having been appointed to the office of police officer
in the city of Blue Island,
in the city of Blue Island,
county of Cook,
county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of
that
the
I will
United States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
for the office of police officer to
for the office of police officer
the best of your ability.
to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
I, Natalie Reyes,
I, Natalie Reyes,
have been appointed to the office of police officer
having been appointed to the office of police
in
officer,
the city of Blue Island,
city of Blue Island,
county of Cook,
county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
the Constitution for the state of Illinois,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
for the office of police officer
of the office of police officer
to the
to
best of your ability.
the best of my ability.
Congratulations. All right, congratulations, everybody. Do a short recess for a few minutes in case you want to go. You don't have to stay for the meeting unless you want to. We'll do a couple minute recess.
And where the bottom, it says Alderman Fairwell requires us, the contract, that means city administrator, Mark, must indicated he sort of the word would. Right? And then, each one is by item I, pretty sure under item I, that it was Alderman McGee that moved the motion, and I seconded it. I actually, I'm going to say, yes, it is okay.
Make corrections. Any other questions? Not corrections to the roll call.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
5 ayes, Your Honor.
Next, we have a motion to approve special minutes of March 30th, 2023, the public appropriation hearing. Is there a motion? Alderman Rolls, Alderman McGee, on the question. Seeing none, clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Carr,
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
5 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Public comment? Any public comment?
Your Honor, city council members, appreciate you having the opportunity to say something. I'd just like to thank the new police officers sworn in today as police personnel, more or less. I don't know if you know, myself, I was a police officer in Dallas, Texas in the mid-80s. It's not an easy job. So it's, it's a good thing, Brian sworn in new police officers. Okay, I live at 13427 Mozart Street. And there's people behind me, the alley there, 13426, what's it, California. Couple times a week, they burn garbage in a 50-gallon drum. And I think that's against ordinance, am I correct?
Yes.
And, I don't want to confront these people because I don't know if they're going to bring this address. I don't want to, and I don't, hopefully somebody could talk to these people because that's, I know one time we were burning plastic. No, that's, you don't do that. You don't do that. So I hope, police, whoever is saying, go by these people's house and tell them that. Because if nobody says something, they're gonna, God forbid it's a windy day, something happens. And also too, we have a problem with parking in our board there. I don't know about the ordinance about company vehicles parking in the street there. I don't know, because it's taking up a lot of space, and like I mentioned before, there's people put cones in front of their house here. I don't think that's right either, so I don't know what could be done with that, because I understand a friend who lives over there by Hart Park, same thing, he has issues, people parking business vehicles there more or less. And one more thing, Broadway and to California, at the corner store, the weekends, people park there at the corner. I don't know why. It's dangerous because you see you're coming California northbound. You want to try to get east or west. You can't. People, of course, they're flying like a bat out of hell trying to beat the railroad tracks. So I don't know if they could. City could put a sign there saying, "Go not park here at the corner." Because I hear that from neighbors, and I know a lot of neighbors because I walk a neighborhood. They tell me, they say, "No, my God, Mr. Mandeville, how come you want for ultimate?" I say, "I'm too old and travel a lot out of town." So thank you. Listen, my concerns.
Now moving on. For a second. In ordinance that was tabled at the last meetings for the city of Blue Island, County, Illinois, amending Title 3 Administration, Chapter 39, fee and fine schedule for the Court of Blue Island. I know, I'm sure is back in town to answer any questions. And Alderman Johnson should join the meeting. So I didn't know if anybody had any questions for Mike while he's here, or I can proceed with this motion to motion on the agenda. Motion, Alderman Fairwell, is a second. Alderman Roll on the question.
Prior to the meeting, Alderman McGee and Mr. Shoulder discussed the draft ordinance, and Alderman McGee asked for one amendment to that ordinance, specifically if one of our residents has to do a parkway, sidewalk, and street opening, that the residents themselves not be charged the $1,000 in fees and the $1,500 deposit. But if the resident is doing that type of project, that they be charged a maximum fee of $500 plus the $500 deposit, so that it's more manageable for our residents that are doing it. Now, that would not apply to contractors that are doing work. It would just city residents.
And if you can also elaborate on all the Aaron will ask for an amendment added to our code that was in the last meeting that we did add into it about public work on public parkways not getting charged for.
I understand.
Yeah, we have it in there.
Under E,
So the current.
that the building commissioner with the approval of the city administrator may waive fines for orders to change to the criminal city.
That was done in class. No other changes? Are we all good with the amendments? Now we'll continue the roll call.
Alderman Johnson.
This is the, when we put the meter in or break into the streets.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay, aye, I'm sorry.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
6 ayes, your honor.
Moving on for new business, the resolution real quick on the, I think I'll elaborate this on our next meeting more. The Illinois Michigan Canal National Heritage proclamation. And I signed the city up because we are part of the historic corridor. And they're celebrating the 175th anniversary. I'm not sure how we're gonna take it to banners or something because we are part of this along with our county and seg channel. So the proclamation reads the 175th anniversary of the I&M Canal, Illinois Michigan Canal National Heritage Area Proclamation. The I&M Canal opened in 1848 to connect the American heartland to New York Harbor on the east and to the New Orleans to the south by water, thereby extending the Great Lakes to the Mississippi River. This water highway became an important transportation corridor, enhancing commerce trading. It brought people and capital to Illinois and was instrumental in the development of towns along its waterway, and Blue Island being one of them. Whereas the I&M Canal opened completion linked to the Illinois River and Lake Michigan, finalizing an all-water route from New York to New Orleans, and establishing a water highway to the west. And whereas the 96-mile I&M Canal ushered in a new era in trade and travel and set the stage for Illinois to become our nation's most populous inland empire, home to the nation's greatest inland port. And whereas the I&M Canal gave birth to the growth of the Illinois cities of Chicago, Lamont, Lockport, Seneca, Shanahan, Utica, Joliet, Ottawa, Morris, Southborough, and so on. We put ourselves in there also because our canal was extended part of the I&M Canal shortly after the initial build. Whereas the Illinois Michigan Canal was designated as a National Historic Landmark in 1963 and our nation's first national heritage area in 1984, the Canal Corridor Association designated the coordinating entity for the Illinois Michigan Canal National Heritage Area in 2006. Within its boundaries designated by the U.S. Congress. Whereas today, visitors, residents, and school children can visit the Illinois and Michigan Canal National Heritage Area from Chicago to Peru and enjoy historic, cultural, and national resources, including trails, prairies, historic canal towns, museums, attractions, and festivals, including experience a ride on a mule-pulled canal boat. Therefore, I, Fred Bellato, Mayor of the City of Blue Island, hereby affirm commemorate the 175th anniversary of the opening of the I&M Canal, Remote Island, Illinois Michigan Canal National Heritage Area, as we join others in celebrating its 175th anniversary by declaring April 2023 and 2024 the year of the I&M. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Next, new business, a presentation by VISIM regarding economic development. This is the, as far as I believe is in attendance, want to come to the podium. We asked him to come to our next meeting regarding this proposal. I believe he spoke to us, but it was back in the days of our new administration about a year and a half ago. So we asked him to come again to answer any questions or do a brief description of what you're proposing to do for the city.
Yes, thank you for having me, first of all. Yes, it was before COVID, I believe, so, or right during COVID. So,
Right in the middle.
It's been a while. My name is Alex Esparza, former resident of Blue Island. I grew up in the streets. I went to the local schools. I see local teachers. I am the principal of Vism Enterprise LLC. Vism Enterprise LLC is economic development and community development agency. We have worked with Chicago Heights. We have worked with Bridgeview. We have currently working with Markham, and we're looking to work with here in Blue Island, my hometown. What we focus on is economic development through the form of marketing the community, proposing a vision, a strategic vision for the community, not only just welcoming anybody that wants to see Blue Island as their home, but being proactive approach of who we would like to see in our community. Whether it's business, promoting the vacancies that you guys currently have, both in the commercial and industrial sectors. I have personally been involved with Mayor Rahm Emanuel and recently with Lori Lightfoot in the city, on the city of Chicago side. So my strategy, our strategy for Visible Enterprises is strategically build partnership with retain your business, current business that you currently have, but also bringing in business, new business to your community that makes sense for the community. We do this through marketing the community. We do this through finding out what the community it is that they're looking for. There's a lot of times that you can just have a conversation in a local coffee shop, and then you can find out what residents are really looking for in their community. So we fill up this loopholes that we see, money leaving your communities, and we bring it with resources that people would like to see in our community. So overall, strategic partnership with you guys would mean us bringing in businesses that make sense, us promoting your community to the businesses that are looking to either call Illinois their home, so outside of the states, or businesses looking to leave our neighboring city of Chicago, and make it make sense for all of us to work cohesively. That's overall on the nutshell. If you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys might have.
Alderman Johnson.
Yes, what are the businesses that you're working with Markham and Chicago Heights? What businesses have you guys brought or selected to bring?
So at Chicago Heights, it was really interesting. They didn't have a big box grocery store. So Pete's, we introduced, we selected the land that they wanted to see a food grocery store, a larger grocery store. Pete's, Cermak Produce were amongst the ones that were approached. The one that ended up going was a Mexican grocery store called El Güero, which is significantly bigger than just your normal small mom and pop corner store. So that was a success. We also brought out 2 Mexican restaurants, one of them being Los Comales. They predominantly, they were in the city side on the city of Chicago. With Markham, we're currently working, because we were there from the beginning where Amazon was taking over this big parcel on 159. We are working currently with bringing, they would like to see a Starbucks on 159. They would like to see a big gas station to take over the main intersection of where Food for Less is, or Fair Play is. And we're also working with 3 Mexican restaurants that they would like to see as their demographic for the neighborhood is changing. They would like to see a little more diversity in the food.
So what would the city's role be in this, i.e., is it gonna cost us any money?
Can you repeat that?
What's the city's role gonna be in this, which is to say, will it cost the city any money?
Well, I mean, it would be, it's a firm, so we would provide the services for you guys in exchange of an agreement. There is a fee associated with this, but I think the IRI oversees the fee that I'm setting up for this agreement.
All right, then, at some point, obviously, this body's gonna see a proposal.
Correct, yes. That's correct. So one of the biggest, best part that we have is we also would work with your current businesses that you currently have that are having any problems, any interest in finding states, county, or federal funding. My firm does all the research on the behalf, 0 cost to the people that we service on your behalf. So in essence, anybody that needs help with, sometimes they don't know how to set up their SAMS number to be able to receive federal funds. That happened a lot during PPP, during the PPP grants. So making sure that people, the current businesses that are established are aware of any kind of federal, county, or state funding that is out there. So marketing would be one thing, but also offering the services directly to the businesses so they have the resource from the municipality to back them up. A lot of times the problem that happens when grants, or right now the big grant is out, second phase. Not a lot of businesses are applying. I looked up Blue Island, there's only 2 businesses that have applied. It's $5,000 to $10,000 that businesses can literally apply and get. It's almost a guarantee that you can show a hardship if you're a restaurant and if you're in the hospitality, whether that could be a banquet hall, that could be a restaurant, like I said, and anybody that is considers themselves an artist business, whether you're a you're in photography business, whether you're a musician. So again, I know we have more than 2 people that can qualify. Obviously, people are now getting this information, and it could be $5,000 to $10,000 that these people can receive.
Alderman McGee.
So I like what you said earlier about diversity in food, and we've had a lot of good success with restaurants, I think, in Blue Island. And it'd be nice to see some diversity in, we had a nice French restaurant or a Indian food restaurant, Ethiopian, whatever, that diversity in food. We have it on our motto. It's, I think that's a beautiful thing. So I look forward to seeing what you can bring to the table as far as that goes.
So-
Are you still on the Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, I'm still the president. Yes.
Okay, excellent.
And on that note, Alderman McGee, the nice thing about it is that we will look out for businesses. A lot of times you have to market to the businesses, like I said, being proactive on who would you like to see. So not just putting it out there and see who gauges the interest of Blue Island. No, sometimes it takes us picking up the phone and calling a business that you would like to see in this neighborhood and tell them, hey, move to Blue Island, look at what we have. And we will provide the marketing on your behalf to that business to make it make sense for them.
I mean, you'll move back to the winter.
Can't get this contract right there.
Well, you
I know, my comment I made last week, we're very reactionary here, and I think we've done a very good job being very proactive reactionary in the last 2 years. But we still have, like you mentioned, this proposal they gave us the last meeting, the vacant lots on Western Avenue. We need somebody actually out there and aggressively saying, hey, this would be a good fit for you. Because right now, we're just asking people to call us, which is good. We're answering the phone, we're meeting with them. We have nobody calling out though. And this is one step towards that. I know bigger picture, marketing the city, different facets, moving here, moving your business here, moving your family here. That's like another level for me. I'm glad we're all part of the same conversation here. But me, I'm looking for something at least in the very beginning, more proactive and economic, where we have some vacancies, we have some vacant lots. We have the 80 acres off on 19, we're getting hopefully to clearance to market. So this is things I'm looking forward to doing. Alderman Roll.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a proposal, but can you speak to what the engagement would look like? So I understand it's a monthly retainer. Do you, when you, for example, say, if there's a business that we want to attract, how do you determine the we in that case? Do you integrate and work with the planning and zoning board? Do you work, with the mayor directly? How does that work? And as you go out and try to elicit these businesses, what feedback do you provide to the city? Is there a part of the report where we might be able to determine what we could do to help induce these businesses to come to the city? How does that work? Or do you just sort of operate on your own and report back every so often? Can you speak to that?
Yes, so definitely, I think that the agreement would be with the city of Chicago, with the city of Blue Island. So therefore, I want to believe that you all will have access to my firm. That would be on the who is the we. It would be the city of Blue Island. I would most possibly would develop some type of agreement amongst the group of aldermen who want to be involved diligently on the creation of any plan that we develop. So whether it is us meeting quarterly, once a month, twice a month, whatever it is, especially in the very beginning, is going to be critical for us to develop what that plan will look like. And then to your second part of the question is when we go out or how do we determine whether they're a good fit or not? I think we can open the door to start having communication with the local, residents that are interested in what this vision would look like, right? We did it with Markham. We did it with the basic survey. It was on their social media. It was, hey, answer what would you like to see? I think we got 800 responses, but it gave us a really good overview of what people were generally looking for. So that would be an easier way for us to be able to reach the people that are generally interested in what we are lacking as a community. So attracting those people that we would like to see. I mean, obviously, we have to do our due diligence and what type of businesses are looking to expand. We can't just approach a mom and pop business that is barely sustaining themselves, whether it's your favorite cuisine across town in the north side, they might not have the resource to be able to expand. So we would have to be looking for someone who's, looking for that franchise movements, whether it's that home relocation, planning on their forecast. So that would be, the approach that we would have. We do work a lot solo. We go out, we look for businesses that are looking to, move, especially, I said it in before, we try to bring businesses from outside of the states because that's bringing new business to the state of Illinois, which we're in much need of. Bringing it from a neighboring town, it's easier. It's a low hanging fruit for us to be able to market to them. But it would be nicer to us to be able to bring outside chains or outside businesses to come and settle and call Blue Island their home. Did I cover all of the questions?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if I could just ask a follow-up, do you help facilitate those conversations? So I'm sure a lot of businesses might say they're interested based on some condition, right? They want a tax credit for that. Do you help facilitate or sort of collate that information to review before they meet with the city?
Yeah, so we would be, in essence, we don't want to waste your time. So we would only bring businesses that are serious, the businesses that we feel that we can bring resource from the state, from the county. So one of the best assets that we have is that we would do the due diligence on the business side to find out what kind of, amenities, but also what kind of incentives they can receive from all branches of government. So that's gonna be the deal breaker that you guys said. You guys have entrepreneurs, and enterprise zones. If you have tips, any of that information and where the available land is gonna be part of our presentation to the businesses that we try to attract. Whether or not they accept the offer based on what we're offering, we would understand what else we can pursue or bend forward to for them, or just simply say, hey, you know what, this is not gonna work, let's move on.
What is your website address?
So it's currently under construction, but it'll be Visim, VISIM.co. And we would have there is currently testimonials, but we are rebranding the whole website.
Questions? Alderman Johnson?
So when you bring in businesses, I'm hoping that you have in consideration of the mom and pops stores that's already here, where there wouldn't be a strain on their business by bringing in, let's say, a big box company towards whatever business they could hurt out mom and pop establishments instead of for them to be able to feed off of each other and, be a survival tactic. Because I don't think the board of us will probably even allow you to waste our money, let alone our time. But I would appreciate if you keep that in consideration as well.
Yeah, definitely. As Alderman McGee mentioned, I do lead also a Chamber of Commerce. So supporting local small businesses is literally my core. So we'll do.
Questions? Alderman
Just VISIM.co.
.co.
It doesn't, it just says the domain is available.
Right. So I have it. I own the domain.
Okay, but there, I thought you said there were some testimonials.
No. I said it's under construction. It'll be, I'm gonna send you guys, is literally a matter of publishing the website.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beyond, under mayor's report, we have several motions here. Just a reminder, we did have to cancel a meeting last month, so there's some double up here. So we have a motion for approval of payroll for March 31st, 2023, for the amount of $376,797.31. Is there a motion? Motion Alderman Roll, second on the question. Clerk, will you do the roll call?
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
6 ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carried. B, motion for approval of payroll for April 14th, 2023, amount of $555,562 or 44 cents. For a motion. Motion Alderman Carr, second Alderman Montoya on the question. Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries under C, motion for approval of manual accounts payable dated April 12, 2023 for 186.77 Is there a motion? Alderman Roll, second Alderman McGee on the question.
Yes.
Yep.
Mayor, what is the difference between annual one and when we normally do?
So when there's a meeting canceled or if there's bill due before a meeting, you do a manual check. It's still part of your package, it's just not part of the regular AP. If the last meeting was canceled, so your other accounts. So that's the main difference. So goes to us. Any other questions? Clerk, please do the roll out.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr. Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Carries. D, motion for approval of accounts payable dated April 26 from 789,428.50. Is there a motion? Motion Alderman McGee, second Alderman Fairwell on the question. Alderman Carr.
There's a check for CCMSI for 41,000.
That's the ticketing middleman, the process of housing work tickets and stuff like that. No, it used to be CCMSI.
No, that's our third party administrator for workers' comp.
Yes, yes.
So that's a single workers' comp, case payout. What they do is they ask us for authority as they're processing cases. So if they, if they are looking at realistically what they're looking to pay on a worker's injury, then that, they ask us, they give them approval on a certain amount of authority, and then they keep it as low as they can, but ultimately that will go for a worker's comp bill or a doctor's bill.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carried. Next we have E, an ordinance for the city of Blue Island, County of Illinois regarding the sale of personal surplus property owned by the city. Is there a motion? Alderman Fairwell, second Alderman Roll on the question.
Question, Chief, is this on our website for our constituents or whomever look at the purchase?
Once you authorize the sale, then we put it out.
Okay,
Now's the point of putting it out there and getting bids and stuff like that.
okay,
Just authorizing us to do that,
all right.
which we will. Any other questions? Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Carries. For F, we have a resolution, City of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, authorizing and approving proposal for credit municipal finance regarding the financing of police vehicles. Motion, Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Roll on the question. Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Carries. Next, we have an ordinance for the city of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, authorizing residential only parking on the north side and south side of the 2900 block of Everett Street in the city of Blue Island. Motion. Alderman Roll, second, Alderman McGee on the question. Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya. Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Carries. Next, we have a motion to award the 2023 City of Blue Island roadway LED conversion project to Utility Dynamics Corporation in the amount of $241,830. Motion, Alderman McGee, second by Alderman Fairwell. On the question.
I'm just wondering, when we're done with this, how many of our streetlights will no longer be LED?
We did all the municipal last year. These are D-State roads.
Okay, thank you.
The ones owned by.
Comment.
Yeah. Or whatever.
ComEd was supposed to do all LEDs, right? So if you're aware of all of them, please bring it to our attention. They told us last year they were completed all the wood poles already. So if you catch one they missed, please let us know. And I know that's happened. I know last summer they did miss one, so it does happen. ComEd told us last year they completed their portion.
Those are the wood poles?
The wood poles.
Don't miss that meal.
And again, just to highlight, this also includes 127th Street with the many issues. Like in some cases, doubling the amount of lumens on the street rate. All right, any other questions? Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee. Alderman Carr. Alderman Roll.
Aye.
5 0.
Motion carries. Under mayor's comment, I'll be brief, but I did travel down for the first time as a mayor, to lobby in Springfield, with other South Suburban, well, other mayors throughout the state. I testified with the mayor from, it was from Geneva. And, city administrator Tom Wolf came with me, and I spent, 2.5 days down there, multiple committees testifying. I spoke with the governor. It's, our portion of the income tax, so brief history, 1959 to 2011. Every local municipality based on criteria, most likely population, got 10 cents on the dollar redistributed back to the cities for infrastructure, salaries, projects, so have you in the general fund. 2011, it was lower. So it was going to be a temporary lowering for a certain amount of time, and it's been lowered now since 2011. So just our portion, with Blue Island has lost, without regards to inflation, lost $15 million in revenue since 2011. That's real money. That's what we should have been receiving at 10 cents a dollar without inflation. So every town loses enough. We lose it. It's based on our population again. So other towns of comparable size lost the same amount. Towns neighboring us are a lot smaller, lost less, but it's all based on population. So right now, they raised it last year through some efforts from 5% to 6.14 or 6.15, something like that. We're lobbying to bring it back to where it was before, restoring the 10%. The General Assembly is voting on this soon in the House and in the Senate. Hopefully, the governor will sign it. However, there's a lot of negotiations before that can happen. We might have to travel back down to reiterate our case. But for right now, it seems like we got a very good response. Most, if not all, the House members that we talked to and the senators that we talked to, including the governor, seem favorable of some kind of increase. We've never received that positive before. Before it was like we talked about, it'll be in committee. We have a lot of people sponsoring, co-sponsoring the bill. You guys may co-sponsor if you want. This one's got a lot of co-sponsors. Even the governor admitting to over 40 mayors that he met with while we were down there, that he is fine with talking about raising it or a graduated scale of raising it up. Even if they raise it 1 or 2 percentage points, we're still talking possibly $1 million more a year in the city. So hopefully it did some good. I know Blue Island, I know Tom heard it many times. Where's Blue Island at? Like, no, you've had that conversation because there's some mayors that go down all the time. I never do. But it's good to have someone at the table. We're speaking for our unique benefit. I spoke about transitioning from basic services to ALS, which is additional cost for the city, not to mention what everybody are, some other issues. And so Christy from our South Suburban Mayor's Group put me out in front because it seems like I had a lot of that background knowledge without reading off a piece of paper. So I think I accomplished that. We got their attention, and I plan on probably going back at least 1 or 2 days in May at the end of the session. But it seemed very well received, which is a constant, reliable source. It's not just general revenue, not capital grant. We're going to give you $1 million, but go away. It's regular revenue tied to our income tax filed with the state every year forever, unless they reduce it again. So it's a bigger, it's not really low hanging fruit that was just mentioned in a previous presentation. It's something we want. It's a higher on the tree fruit. While we were down there, me and Mr. Logan met with several people talking about general grants and capital funds and stuff like that. But that was more of a secondary conversation to the general reliable sustainable income that would be the raising the distribution of the income tax back to municipalities as it was before. So I think it was very successful. And I know my South Suburban Mayor's Group was very thankful that we went down there, and just between me and Logan's connections with working down there for many years, it was very well received, more than we made a case farther than was made last year by not attending. So that's pretty much my report. And hopefully in a few months, we have some very good news about this. If nothing else, we at least gain some more traction. Maybe we get some pennies. Thank you.
Circuit Court clerk, I think Iris Martinez will be in Robbins this Saturday to help with any court questions or information you have for the circuit court clerk. May 12th is Blue Camp's brick dedication from 4 to 5. This Saturday is our community cleanup. We have over 200 people sign up including Alderman Roll and his family, Alderman Carr, Alderman Dexter Johnson and his team, and Alderman Fairwell and his team. There was a little competition between Farr and Fairwell, Dexter Johnson and Fairwell, and it was a tie. They each brought 17 members to the job. Thank you.
You know, I didn't look like.
It was exact time. 17 people. TGIF is back this year. We're combining the farmers market and TGIF with music in the park, so watch out for the details coming. May 24th, the library at 6 o'clock is going to have former Governor Quinn and bring a veterans exhibit, plus all our flags that our banners that we have will be at the library on May 24th at 6 o'clock. And last but not least, the city stickers will go on sale this year, May 1st. So June 30th, we saw them for a month, 2 months instead of 1 month. So that's a big improvement for what we've done in the past.
Thank you. We need a motion to approve the March 2023 Treasury Report. Motion. Alderman Roll, second. Alderman McGee on the question. Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya. Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr. Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Pleasure.
Carries. City Attorney, guys.
No.
City Administrator.
Couple of quick items, piggybacking off of your question, Alderman Johnson, about the manual checks. Sometimes the schedule of the council doesn't allow for things to fall perfectly on our calendar, so we wind up having to do some things and then come back to the council retroactively for approval. So just to put very clearly on record, a couple of things that we're not ready for this meeting that we will be asking for approval retroactively for by the next meeting. One is the insurance policy on our metro lots. It just wasn't, the quote wasn't ready by today, unfortunately. So the broker was very apologetic, but we just didn't have it ready. But we do, we need to, if you recall, this brought us all together a couple years ago. So we do need to do it by the end of the month. So I will be in communication with all of them about what the actual lots are. I confirmed with the broker, we didn't have any major incidents at our lots this year. So we're probably just going to get your basic inflationary uptake in price. It's not going to be much different from what we signed last year. Another is we're waiting, I go through some court issues with our workers' comp attorney. We're anticipating a settlement in the next week or two. Again, I will have some individual communication say it's as an HR matter. I don't want to go too far into a public record, but I do want the body informed. The settlement is for a legitimate injury. It would probably be in the area of around $5,000 to $6,000 settlement. So we're not talking about that. Comparatively, some of the workers' comp matters we deal with, this will not be one of the larger ones, but I think we want to get it off our plate before we incur any further legal fees on it. So I will be, like I said, in the individual communication with all of them about that before we do anything, and we will come back to the council for retroactive on these things, provided that everyone is comfortable with it forward. And then just one non-monetary issue. So I think, as everyone knows, Vinnie Franchetti, who was our golf course manager, unexpectedly on our part, left. He found a higher paying job, so we wish him well. But it did leave us a little bit in the lurch with the season about to start. So what we do need to do is have a resolution passed that allows for the signer on the account to be moved. Right now, it's going to be a little bit of a revolving situation, but right now, Mike Powers, who is a resident, I think most people probably know Mike. He's worked at the golf course before. He sits on the park district board. He's pretty knowledgeable about rec issues. He's agreed to step in a temporary management role. As we figure things out, and then Ted Riekenberg, who is former manager of the golf course, is currently director of the park district. He's agreed to also use some spare time to help us out. So we greatly appreciate both their help, but we've got to we're bring a resolution to this body that just simply allows them to sign checks. So those are the matters I have.
Questions?
Yeah, I've got that notice from you about the this Saturday, the house fix.
Correct, yeah.
For some reason, I'm just not familiar with the program. Could you tell us a little more about it?
Yeah, so we got two programs going on, but what I sent you is the location. So one program is the clerk's community cleanup with public works, but that's ours, right? Then there's the Cook County rebuilding program that we're doing. So these are homes that we've advertised it through our channels and talked about it a couple of times here. Our building department has offered the program application to some people who need it. Basically, it's to provide, it's a combination of Cook County and then various trade labor unions, and what they do is they provide the knowledge and the expertise. They identified, I believe, 19 homes, if I'm right, in town with a range of needed work, and the scope ranges from light things like basic patch ups and things to sometimes heavier duty work like plumbing and electrical work that needs to be done. It's all done by licensed bonded tradesmen. It's all permitted through our building department. Just want to thank our building department for putting in the extra time and effort to process several dozen permits pro bono. So at each of these homes will be a dumpster, whether it's want to be informed that this is in your ward, right? And then at each of these homes, the identified scope of work will be done and set of ranges. The trade guys will meet here, I believe, here at 7 p.m. in the morning of, and they'll go out, they'll be at their project all day. And then, the end result is we get these qualified homes. The county does pick the homes. We offer the application process, but the final say on which homes were chosen was ultimately done by President Craigwinkle's office. She will be here, President will be here, doing a press conference at 1 p.m. at the one of the houses in Artesia, the address is in that email. So if you want to be part of that, some of the public relations behind it is, it's a very good program. It's a good partnership. And we'll have, 20 residents that get much needed significant work at no cost for their homes. So, that's the short answer.
So if you can be able to help us clean up at the same time.
We're gonna have gloves and bags ready to go for whoever, and then we're trying to take advantage of the fact that we have the dumpsters here. Not all of these projects will fill up all of the dumpsters. So whenever we can, that's why we chose to do the community cleanup on the same day. We're just trying to take advantage of the resources we have and get as much debris up as possible. While we're also doing these home fixing projects. So.
I have another question for me. With the position of the golf course being open, is that put out for the GP to be able to apply?
Yes, but right now.
Qualified.
Yeah, it's on our website right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you go to Law Delaware backslash employment, first job out there, right now.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Aldermanic announcement. Public comment was at the beginning of the meeting. Aldermanic announcements, reports, or comments? Being none, we need a motion to adjourn. Motion, Alderman Reynolds, and Alderman Roll, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Yeah. Hang out.
Later.